Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 and I'm back at it with another video for you guys, and this is another Stargirl Season 1 review for you guys, and this was a really good episode. One, on the most part, just the whole, Cindy, things and stuff like that we get in this episode. The Cindy versus Courtney fight, or Shiv, I think that's how you say her name, and Stargirl fight. And then this episode really took me back to high school, man. I cannot just believe this episode really took me back into my high school days. Like I'm only like 3 years removed from high school, and like I'm going into my senior year in college. Um, and this really took me back to high school. Like I kid you not. I'll mention it throughout some of the moments in the video that reminded me so much of high school and stuff like that. So, this episode was a good episode. Like I said, it was kind of just an episode dedicated to Cindy and her origin story and stuff like that. Now, obviously, Pat and Courtney, and the episode starts off, they're talking about training, and they kind of, Mike kind of asks, like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like talking about driving and stuff, like driver's ed and driving. Um, Even Barbara comes in like, whoa, what's going on here? So Barbara and Mike, they're starting to try to, at least they're starting to catch on to these apparent like, whoa, what you guys talking about? You guys just randomly talk about something like that. He even mentions later in the episode, I'm just gonna get to it, which was kind of a little like side thing in the episode, which is the fact that, Mike at the homecoming game, he tells Courtney straight to his face, I don't like the fact that you hang out with frickin' Pat, all the time in the world. I never get that chance. So, where the kid that be leading, like I said, I think there will be a time and place where not Courtney, Mike and maybe even Barbara will find out what Pat and Courtney are really doing. Morally, it looks like Mike's gonna find out before Barbara, but yeah, that's what it seems like. Is going to be going on for that. And I think when Mike finds out, he's gonna understand. Oh, this is why Courtney's spending all this time with Pat and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty interesting because even Mike's like, you don't know what we've been through when he was telling to Courtney and stuff like that. So, it seems like Mike is getting, I guess you can say, maybe a little jealous of the fact that Courtney is hanging around Pat and, trying to be like, I guess a good stepdaughter. And I guess, Mike is getting a little jealous about that. So, anyways, after that scene at the beginning of the episode, Cindy actually goes to the hospital where Henry's at, and she kind of wants him to take his mind off of brainwave, his dad, and stuff like that. And Henry's not trying to pay attention; he's just worried about his dad. Like he's not even worried about the festivities, going on at the school and stuff like that. So then it cuts to Cindy going home, and we later find out Cindy's stepmom is like, I guess, her own personal maid or something like that, because she treats the stepmom like honest to garbage, like trash. 'Cause there's like even a line she says like, "Don't let me tell my dad because you know what's gonna happen next. We're just gonna have to find another one, aren't we?" So I'm like, it's probably implied because they even do mention the fact that her dad Dragon King actually remarried like 2 times after her mom died. Um, and stuff like that. So I'm guessing Dragon King kind of kills off the moms. I'm guessing, stuff like that. Like I said, we find out Sydney's mom died when she was in the 4th grade. So obviously that is impacting her, and even they mention, when Courtney, Yolanda, Beth, and um, Rick are all together. Beth makes a mention like, yeah, way back when she was younger in elementary school, she was a really nice kid. And then all of a sudden, after the mom died, she just went all like, you know, becoming a jerk essentially. Even one of her girlfriends essentially tell like Cindy like in the episode, she calls her the B word. I'm not gonna say it, but she calls her the B word, and they kind of just split up and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, Icicle, if it goes back to Icicle, now Icicle looks at this image of this character. I don't know who that person is. If you know who that person is, put in the comment section. But then in the same area, he asked Barbara to go, to this. I think he said like power plant or something, some area to buy for Project America essentially and stuff like that. And Barbara was relieved to go, even though Barbara's going to be away for from the other family from some time. Now it cuts back again to the school, and the janitor kind of looks freaking suspicious, and stuff like that. And actually after Cindy runs into Henry again, um, and I'll get to Henry in a second, but she kind of asked him like to go to homecoming with her, and Henry kind of declines. He's like, I don't want to do that stuff. Um, that takes me back to high school days when stuff like that. And Cindy's having her bad day, which she later tells Courtney and stuff like that. So honestly, I can understand what Cindy's going through because in high school I did not have the best homecoming, dance experiences when it came to homecoming. My freshman year, I'm not gonna go into details of my personal life, but let's just say I was really wanting to ask this girl, and let's just say this girl kind of wanted to do her own thing, and it kind of bummed me out a bit, and stuff like that. To the point, it's like homecoming season when I was in high school was like one of the worst times for me. Like, I even waited, you know, I even had a second chance to ask her to a homecoming dance like later on. I think when I was a junior in high school, and I just later found out that she already made her mind up to go with another guy. So, for the most part, homecoming wasn't my freaking type of dance to go to. And I think in my senior year, I just went to the homecoming dance by myself because, stuff like that. Um, so that's a fun homecoming story. You guys get to know about me. Homecoming was not my favorite holiday when it came around in the school year and stuff like that. So I can understand Cindy obviously being saying it's one of the worst days ever because trust me, when I've had those moments, I thought they were some of the worst days ever, especially when you plan things out. But like I said, going back to the janitor, she actually bumps into the janitor, and the janitor, Courtney does help out the janitor, and the janitor goes into his janitor room, and we see a sword, and I'm like, oh, wow, interesting, interesting. So for people who've been saying the janitor is going to probably be somebody important, there you go. The janitor is somebody important, especially by the time you get to the end of the episode. Now, Cindy and Courtney, um, they're in the same science class, which I believe is chemistry. Again, another high school memory. I didn't hate chemistry. I was garbage at chemistry. To be honest, I don't know how you can do chemistry. Chemistry is one of the hardest classes I ever took in high school. I did not know anything whatsoever. The only sciences I knew really well were biology and physical science. Chemistry and physics were totally out of the they were totally out of the picture. Like I think I did take those two classes in high school, and I was lost. I didn't know anything. I was lucky enough none of those classes like we took like legit actual tests in those classes of those classes. So Cindy and Courtney, they're actually talking, and they obviously talk about their past. Not well, morally, Cindy tells Courtney her past, and we also explain that Cindy's also a good chemist. That's mostly due to her dad, but because her dad's a chemist. But we find out that Cindy's actually a really good chemist. And after they're done with their job, with their I guess little lab project they were doing in class, Cindy kind of asked Courtney like, "You want to hang out for I guess on homecoming night since." She kind of got rejected, and Courtney really has nothing to do on homecoming night. Later, do we find out she actually has an apparent date. So yeah. Yeah, and stuff like that. Now, Cindy actually goes into the where the ISA are located at, and she overhears what the Injustice Society are talking about. Her dad kind of pulls her aside, and she's kind of begging her dad, Dragon King, like, "Yep, I want to be a part of the ISA," but we find out she's really don't reason why she's dating um, Henry is to kind of keep, tabs on him, eyes on him to see if his powers develop. Because since Brainwave is obviously out of commission, they need to see Henry. She needs to keep a close eye on him to see if Henry's powers are developing. And to her, she doesn't know that. Now, Henry, on the other hand, we find out that his powers are developing and they're actually working now by the time he takes a freaking test, which, man, if you had those type of powers taking a test, oh my goodness, I don't care what grade you're in, whether you go to high school or college, you are being a straight A student if you have Henry's powers. Just looking at just you can just hear what the freaking smartest people in the room are just saying, and then you can get the answers and stuff like that. Jesus, talk about game breaking. Like legit, I wish I had that skill. I'd be getting straight A's in school. In school. But anyways, not Courtney, Cindy, she wants to work, and I'm guessing she's looking at the Sheev costume, which is probably her mom's costume, and stuff like that, which I'm guessing. Um, and obviously, Dragon Queen's like, no, there's no way. You have your intended job to do and stuff like that. And he even makes a mention to Courtney, you're my greatest creation, which I'm guessing kind of ties into the revelation we find out later in the episode. Whew. Now, we get a little supposed training montage with Courtney and the others, but Courtney kind of steals the show, and she kind of really pisses off the rest of the guys. She pisses off the rest of everybody else because she kind of just really kind of shows them up, and she kind of shows Mike, and Mike's like honestly explaining to everybody, all the villains' identities and what their stuff is. Courtney is like interrupting, like, yeah, we get that. We've just seen these guys like last week and stuff like that. And Courtney, like I said, takes kind of the entire training montage, and everybody gets pissed, or even past, like, I was not doing this, for just you. I was doing this for your team and stuff like that. Even Beth makes a mention, like, I thought we were doing this for the team purpose, not just you. So it kind of goes into Courtney's character that I guess she's getting a little bit too antsy, and the fact that she wants to do this. She wants to stop the ISA, so bad. Honestly, it's just me. I may be nitpicking. It's just me, but I just feel like this whole Courtney character, when it comes to stopping the ISA, is it's not kind of getting repetitive, but it's getting a little bit annoying and really bad, I guess, for her character because there's been two instances, really three instances. Well, actually, no, actually is two instances where obviously Pat is telling her, "Listen, I know." Actually, three instances. Pat's actually telling her like, "Yo, you need to slow down and calm down. We can't go after these guys yet. You need the training. You need to be prepared just in case you get into these predicaments." And Courtney's just rushing herself into this. And listen, like I said, you could be saying I'm nitpicking, but I think this is just bad character for her because on three separate occasions, the Joey Zarek thing, she died. Joey Zarek died technically because of her trying to go and rush over to try to stop Icicle in episode 3. Joey Zarek died because of it, even though Icicle caused it. If not for her getting involved in that stuff, Joey Zarek might still be alive. Two, just last week, her and her team got beat the hell up with no teamwork whatsoever. They got absolutely fisted by Sportsmaster and Tigress. So that makes no absolute sense why she wants to rush in and do all these things now. Even she makes a mention in the episode, Pat, why don't you go train the others and I go do the work myself? And it's like, um, look, Courtney, you have shown some pretty talented things, but you're not all of that. Not yet. You still got some things to learn yourself. And even, at the end of last week's episode, after getting the butt kicked, she even admits that I guess we do really need some more training, huh? And she kind of goes back on her word with this, and even later in the episode, she goes on her own try to stop the fiddler. And I'm like, woman, what are you, or girl, what are you doing? Like, it's a nitpicky thing. You can say I'm nitpicking, but I think it's just bad character for her. That she's wanting to go out there on the field to stop the Injustice Society so freaking bad. But there's three separate occasions where she has done something that has ended up pretty bad, if not almost got her and the others killed. And the fact that last week she admits that she needs that training, and the others need that training, and then she kind of reneges on that this episode. I think it's just bad character writing. You could be saying nitpicking, but that's the only issue with the Courtney character I have. I like the Courtney character because she's obviously a very outgoing, energetic character, but I just hate the character from the standpoint she's learning the lessons along the way of being trying to become a hero, but at the same time she's still being really stubborn, and maybe that's because she's a teenager too. But she's really being really freaking stubborn to try to go stop the injustice society on her own. To the point, like in this episode later, she almost gets herself killed. Trying to do too much. Um, Stuff. It's just that's just it's just me. That's just me. I don't know if that's anybody else's opinion, and I know I've talked like probably the past 10 minutes about this, but yeah. Anyways, going back to the episode, we actually get an interesting scene with Cameron and Icicle, and they're actually talking, and Cameron actually tells his dad like, I want to ask this girl out to the homecoming dance. And he kind of asks his dad like, how would I go about doing that? Obviously, Cameron is nervous, and what I want to know, he's gonna ask Courtney, isn't he? And it's now plotting the seeds of the fact that Cameron has a thing for Courtney now. And obviously he seems like he really likes her. So we're gonna get a Cameron and Courtney relationship, as the season progresses, on. Um, I hate to be I don't hate to be the bearer of bad news, but hopefully they go to the homecoming dance together, and she doesn't blow him off, which I feel is going to happen next week. That's what I feel, and he's going to be pretty upset. But Cameron also asked his dad, because his dad talks about how him and his mom, or Icicle, how he and his wife met. And Cameron makes a mention like, Dad, I think you should be happy. You need that thing. And essentially Cameron's telling his dad like, maybe you should go out there and find another girl or a woman to, date, and maybe, eventually remarry. And Icicle says, I'm happy as is. Now, my prediction is he's Icicle behind the scenes is being very, very, you know, he's getting very, very, he's creating a bond with Barbara. I feel like, and he even knows that Barbara is, married with a family. I have a feeling like Icicle is going to try to make Barbara fall in love with him, and try to, I guess you could say, try to make her cheat on Pat, so he can find that happiness. It seems like they're trying to do an angle where Icicle is going to try to do all these things to, I guess, express his feelings to Barbara because he feels lonely. It would be an interesting plot line too, because then it would give Pat a reason to, and Courtney a reason to stop Icicle, because Icicle's trying to hit on your mom, Courtney, and Pat trying to steal your wife from you. So that's my prediction. I think that's what they might be going, because they're making Icicle and Barbara have, you know, there's a relationship where it looks like it's gonna be a working relationship, and it looks like Icicle's gonna say something, which might be make Barbara back. I'll be like, whoa, whoa, I'm married. I can't, because it seems like Icicle is going to be going on this, I guess, business trip with Barbara from what it looks like. So yeah. So anyways, we cut to the homecoming game, which gives me another memory of homecoming season, and that was me always playing on homecoming, night. My senior year in high school, I did play in my homecoming football game, and we did win that game. And it took me back to that time on the Friday Night Lights where you play essentially on the few, whether it was whether I played on JV or freshman, um, where it was either the few days before homecoming, or say like my senior year on varsity, you play the night before Homecoming, and when we got that win, it made Homecoming feel so much more better. So, it took me back, and just even the high school football, game they did in this episode, it really takes me back to those times when I was, in high school playing high school football, and I really do miss those times because those were some fun times. So for you high schoolers checking out this video, please, I kid you not, like legit, treasure the times you have in high school because I could look back. I wish I had a time machine and I could go back and relive my high school experience because that was some of the greatest, moments of my life and stuff like that. So yeah, now Cameron actually, you know, Pat actually, sees that Courtney is looking at the principal, and you know, Pat's like, listen, calm down, don't go after her, don't worry about her. And then that's how we get into the whole Mike conversation after he goes to get them food. Then we actually see Cameron come out of nowhere, and he actually asks Courtney to the dance. Now Courtney kind of somewhat declines his offer, and because he tells her like, "Oh, I have plans to hang out with Cindy, and stuff like that." But then Courtney kind of, I guess you could say she kind of feels bad that she's kind of, I guess you could say, dumping Cameron for doing this hard thing. I mean, it was, and honestly, if you ask me, it was one of the most simplest ways a guy could ask a girl to homecoming. It was just he just sits her there at a homecoming football game, and just asks her to the dance. I'm like, Jesus, you got no poster, no flowers, no nothing. I'm like, the directors could have at least made this thing a little bit more real like because in today's society, you make sure you have a poster and a bouquet of flowers to give the girl you want to ask and stuff like that. He just sat there right next to her and said, "Would you like to go to homecoming with me?" I don't know. Maybe they should have did a little bit more with that proposal, but okay. Um, anyways, Courtney goes down to the field actually, which I'm shocked security just let her go on the football field because if this was a legit real high school football game, you cannot enter the field whatsoever. When I went to my high school football games, there was security that were blocking the entry to the field. Only the football players and the coaches and certain staff members could access the field. She literally, there's an open gate to the field. Literally goes and talks to Cindy and says like, I can't. Can we like hang out another time because I actually just got asked to the dance. And Cindy, like a stuck up B word, kind of just tells Courtney to kind of F off and be like, fine, have fun at the dance. We're not gonna, you're lost, essentially. I'm like, you're not gonna be happy for somebody you looked like you wanted to give a chance that she's being asked to the dance. Like, I know you're upset that you're not going to the dance yourself, but at least be happy for Courtney that she's gonna go to the dance with a guy. But like I said, I think it's because she's jealous of the fact that Henry's not going and she can't go. So it gets to the point where Courtney follows the principal into the school. She goes into the ISA guest basement, which seems to be connected like legit throughout the city to get to their base. In the meantime, Cindy is actually going in, and she actually sees Stargirl on one of the monitors, and she puts on the Shiv costume, and they have a fight, which was a pretty cool fight. And then midway through the fight, Courtney actually blasts Cindy with the staff. And when you see Sydney, I kid you not, we see metallic parts, and I'm like, that's what he meant by "You're my greatest creation." So we get the revelation that Cindy is a cyborg, or I guess you can say in a Dragon Ball Z term, she's an android essentially. And yeah, so that was interesting. It was crazy because the thing is this, it reminded me of freaking Terminator, the way she looked, just the way you could see some metal parts. It's like when Arnold Schwarzenegger got his like sometimes get his face blown off or his human skin blown off, and you can see the Terminator side of him. And then also, I guess it's from like and I guess she is like I guess you can say the Terminator Genesis type of thing, where she can actually just reheal her skin right then and there. So yeah, and then there was a moment where they have a hand-to-hand combat, and it looks like Cindy actually stabs Courtney with her little sharp dagger she has, and it looks like her hands and stuff like that. She gets stabbed, and it looks like Sydney's gonna try to finish off Stargirl and kill her. But then the janitor actually comes in the clutch, saves her, and yeah. So obviously Courtney is just knocked out. She's passed out. She's knocked out. She's down for the count. The staff actually goes finds Pat and takes Pat to where Courtney's at in the gym, and I get they actually fight in the where and then the homecoming dance is all set up and stuff like that. The gym's all set up for the homecoming dance. And essentially, you know, the janitor actually sees Pat and he calls Pat Stripes. So it seems like the janitor was a part of the Justice Society of America, which is pretty interesting. So will he start to interact with Courtney more and be like, I know you're Stargirl or something like that. Now. And the crazy thing is I have a feeling that now because Pat was running in there saying Courtney, 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 I have a feeling now that Cindy now knows that Courtney is Stargirl because Pat he was yelling Courtney out there while she was in costume, stuff like that. And even the next episode preview, Cindy shows up at her house, so yeah, and stuff like that. So yeah, obviously, the episode ends off with Courtney in Pat, a lifeless body of Courtney in Pat's arms. Obviously, we all know that, Pat is definitely going to chew Courtney out next week, and stuff like that. And because he's going to blame himself that, he couldn't be there to protect Courtney and stuff like that. So, yeah. Um, it was a good episode. I enjoyed this episode from beginning to end. We got the Cindy backstory. We got the fact that, Henry's powers have now looked like they're developing and they're fully developed. He has to get in control of them, and he even in a few minutes he was finding out we're starting to get in control of him. It also seems like we're gonna get the start to a Courtney Cameron relationship, and like I said earlier, I believe that Courtney's gonna somewhat blow Cameron off and not gonna be able to attend the homecoming dance. Whether maybe that's say because the injuries she suffered or stuff like that. So yeah. Hold on a second. Sorry for that. Like I was saying, yeah, it looks like Cameron might get blown off. Now, where they could be doing with this Cameron Courtney relationship? I actually wanted to get into this real quick. Now, obviously, we know from last week, Cameron's powers are definitely starting to develop. And he's starting to become Icicle Jr. Now, my thing is this. I said last week, they're either going to make him the successor to Icicle or they're going to make him join the Justice Society of America and be a good guy. Which I believe they will go that route, especially when he finds out what his dad is really doing. But at the same time, he's gonna have to find out that Courtney's actually a superhero herself. And I think when he finds out that revelation, he might be a little pissed off, but then he'll understand and stuff like that. Um, and when he finds out that, like I said, maybe when he finds out that his dad is evil and that Courtney's going after the dad, maybe he might be like, "Why are you trying to go after my dad?" You know, and stuff like that. Maybe that's where we could have the tension. And I hate to say this, but it could be a Raylo type of thing where you have Kylo Ren on the bad side, and Kylo Ren would be like Cameron, and Ray on the good side, then that'd be portrayed by Courtney. So it's going to be interesting to see this relationship angle, especially when there's going to be things revealed, and when things are revealed to Cameron, and when he finds out he has his own powers, who knows? I don't know where this is going to go in terms of their relationship, because this is definitely the seeds. They're planting the seeds for the Courtney Cameron relationship. They've hinted at that, and now this seemed to be planning it. So we're gonna see how the episodes go on, where they take this relationship. It seems like it could be one of those cute high school relationships that, based on one thing, will go wrong, and it's gonna be a long time before they, I guess, fall back in love with each other. So yeah. Yeah. I guess, and then I guess one of the last things I guess you can say is kind of a nitpicky thing. One, how was Courtney able to even get into the school to begin with? If you're asking me this, there is no way you should be able to access the school at a freaking high school football game, even if the campus is right next to the school. Because first things first, the school will be locked up. There, the fact that one, the janitor just didn't lock the freaking door and she just walked into the school like willy nilly. I'm like, okay, that the school door should definitely be like locked. And the fact that I'm shocked that she didn't even lock after she left, I was like, okay, um, all right, no complaints here. Maybe a nitpick, but that's just me. But other than that, this episode was good. Um, some of the things they set up here are really good, and this seemed to be like a freaking two-parter episode. So next week, because the title was titled like Shiv Part One, you know, and next week will probably be titled Shiv Part Two. So I can't wait for next week. It seems like the rest of the heroes are gonna go after Cindy, and maybe we'll get revealed that Cindy knows who Courtney's real identity is. So yeah, but also if you wanted to know, is Courtney dead? No, she's not dead. She's alive. She's in the next episode previews for Stargirl, and plus it would be stupid to kill Courtney off right now here in episode 7, because then it would make the show completely worthless or pointless. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll catch you guys in the next video. So if you guys like this video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this episode and where they could be taking, Cindy, as well as this apparent Courtney Cameron relationship. And what do you think about, Icicle maybe doing something to try to make him happy by trying to potentially hook up with Barbara, and stuff like that? And also, do you think will Mike and Barbara ever find out the secret? Which I believe they will, but yeah. But also hit that subscribe button to the channel to get more Stargirl content, as well as I'd review other anime content. I know this upcoming weekend is going to be huge. This upcoming weekend and even next week, um, for anime is going to be huge because a bunch of animes that have either been delayed, are coming back, or animes that are coming out this time are coming out. So it's going to be a big week for the channel. So if you like anime content, check out the video and hit that subscribe button. So other than that, guys, I'm out of here. This has been Cam for 15. I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys are having a great day, night, or whenever you're checking out this video. Also, stay safe out there. Peace.